Morning. Good morning. Thank you. Clapping to you for being here. How are you enjoying your toasted overnight oats? Yes. Uh-huh. Like a little too chewy sometimes, but these are not. Yes, so these have been, and they actually have like extra love in them too, so that makes them soften up, right? I practiced a lot to get just the right consistency. Now, I understand that some people like their oats thicker and some of them like them a little bit thinner. You can always add milk or whatever. Actually, I'm going to ask if someone in the back can bring me that almond milk that's in the back there.
I have it.
Thank you so much. That way I can kind of show it on screen when it's time for that. But I know they were using it back there. So how are you guys feeling today? Good. Nice and toasty warm. We got our toasted oats. Today, we're going to continue our cholesterol talk. So we have cholesterol talk for the whole month. Can you believe we can talk about cholesterol for the whole month? Well, we can. So we're going to talk about specifically today how dietary fiber can optimize your cholesterol levels. And that those oats that you're eating have a lot of fiber in them, right? And those of you who chose to put berries on it, that has a lot of fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber, we're going to talk about today. So for this whole month, we're going to talk about cholesterol like we did last week. What is cholesterol? Why do we need it in our body? The different types of cholesterol we went over last week. And what do those lab results mean that you get once a year or twice a year or however often you're getting your blood drawn. So that's what we're going to talk about for the whole month. But today specifically, we're going to talk about the benefits of dietary fiber. We're going to talk about the difference between soluble and insoluble fiber and what's that mean. How much fiber do you need every day? How many people think that they're getting as much fiber as they need every day without supplementation, just through your food? Very, very few, right? And you're normal for the average American, but we are going to get you optimal. So we're going to talk about what foods you can add to get that fiber up. One of the things that I always am talking about as a health coach, as a registered dietitian, as a trainer, is we're not going to talk about what you need to take out of your diet. We're going to talk about what can you add, because then you won't feel deprived and you'll be happy and healthy. And there's also, we're going to talk about some of last week's questions too. So I encourage you again to ask me questions and let me know what you're interested in learning more about, whether it's about cholesterol or other dietary or nutrition or lifestyle habit things you want to talk about, because I can, even if I don't put them in this cholesterol month, I think if you like me, I can come back. Yeah. All right, so first, let me just introduce myself a little bit better. My name is Brenda Morgan. I am a registered dietitian, nutritionist. I'm a master certified health coach and a personal trainer. I have a business that's called A Health Warrior. And I am in the process of creating a place where people can come to support through community and also with professional support their best lives and optimize their health. But I know too that you need support and you need help sometimes for that accountability part. We're surrounded by fast food and lots of convenience foods that are not the best for us, right? And so even I love my sugar, and so sometimes I need support. I need to talk to someone to talk me down from the cake, right? Step away from the cake, ma'am. So we all need support. We need that community, and we need to have good examples around us. That's why you come every week to these classes to learn more about it and get that reinforcement. It's a daily thing. I also want to let you know that I have no conflicts of interest. Any of the products that I mention in this presentation are only because, as a dietitian, I have found that they are useful, that they are helpful, and that they're good for you. Or I'm recommending them like I would recommend them to a friend. I'm not making any money off of that. So last week, we talked about the different types of cholesterol. Anyone want to share with me the different types, major different types of cholesterol that you know of?
Happy and lousy.
Say it again.
Happy and lousy.
Happy and lousy. Okay, so what is the happy one? Is the HDL, right? And the lousy one is the LDL. Yay! All right. Well, I also had a diva last week asked me, what is VLDL? So before I go into my prepared presentation, I'm going to give you a couple of slides on what is VLDL, because I know you're seeing those. Some of your doctors might be running that test and you see it and you go, what does that mean? So we're going to talk about that too. And we talked last week about mostly about LDL cholesterol and why we need it in our bodies and what some of those lab results mean. So we looked at the different numbers, and we'll get to see a little bit of those again today. And what tools, every time I want you to leave here with more tools, more tools. How can I optimize my health? So let's first talk about what is VLDL. It stands for very low density lipoprotein. So if you look at, this is your liver, and you'll get HDL, LDL, VLDL. Here's the liver right here. So from the liver comes VLDL. The reason it's called very low density is because the molecule has more fat in it. It has more triglycerides in it because its job is to transform into LDL. This LDL has a little less fat, a little more protein in it so that it can get into your cell. You want these in your cells because that's how everything functions, right? You remember from last week, we need cholesterol, we need fat in every single cell of our bodies for everything to function. And what I'm focused on too, and I know many of you are, is brain health. We talked about that last week, right? We need just the right amount of LDL. And we start getting a little bit too much LDL in our system, and what happens? Anyone remember what happens to the arteries? Atherosclerosis, right? Plaque buildup in your arteries. So we're looking for that optimal amount. So what your HDL is going to do is it's going to come and it's going to remove the excess cholesterol from the cells, and then it's going to send it up to the liver, and in the liver it's going to transfer it to bile salts, which will leave the body. So what happens, and I'm getting a little bit ahead myself, but I'm on a roll, is the fiber, all this fiber that we're going to talk about today, that fiber is helping the HDL to clean, it attaches to that excess cholesterol and just removes it as waste. That's why we want more fiber. And I'll repeat that again on some of these other slides, but it bears repeating. So what is this? What are the VLDL? What do these numbers mean to your health? This VLDL optimally for the general population. Now, every time I present these numbers, as I did last week too, I'm letting you know that your numbers might be different. Your numbers might be different because of your genetics. Your numbers might be different because of your age. It might be because of your medical diagnosis. It might be because of whatever medication that you're on. So when you are looking at your LDL numbers, your VLDL numbers, when you're looking at those, remember that for yourself, you're looking at trends. So it's not an indicator of, it might be saying, okay, you might be at risk, but it's not determinant. Does that make sense? It's not saying your VLDL or your LDL is too high, so you're going to have a heart attack next year. It's not that. It is, hey, let's pay attention to this. So if your total cholesterol was 290 last year, and now you're at 215, okay, you're going in the right direction. But some of your medications might make your lab numbers be different. So that's something that you and your doctor want to work on together, and why you want to partner with your doctor so that you can watch these trends also. And I know a lot of you are very involved with your own health and your own medical numbers. So you're watching these, right? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of head nods. You're watching these. And if you're not, then now's the time. Go and get the history and ask for your medical records so that you can see this trend. Am I going in the right direction? And sometimes it's really good motivation to say, okay, I need to get a little bit more fiber. I need to have a little more healthy fats in my diet. So what are some of the benefits of a high fiber diet? And I know everyone's always like, how can I lose weight? Yes, it's going to make you feel full longer. So it will help you to lose weight by pulling, again, all that excess fat that you don't need. It'll help to optimize your blood pressure, to regulate your blood sugar and your cholesterol, which is what we're talking about today. And it has been proven, it is shown, ooh, I forgot to show you, hot off the presses just yesterday, a new medical study from Stanford University, dietary fibers, anti-cancer effects traced to direct genetic changes. That means that the more fiber that you eat, what they're finding is that it's directly telling the genes in your body to turn off or on. So what they're finding is that fiber in your diet can help fight cancer at the genetic level. The compounds produced during fiber digestion directly influence the genes that are turned on and off in your cells. This is Stanford University, just came out yesterday. Printed it out for you because I was like, hot off the press, I have to let them know. And that's what I love about my job too, is that I love reading all this stuff and bringing it to you. And that's why you come to these sessions, is so you can learn what's the latest science. That's what I love doing. I just want to see if there's something else that it says that they're finding conclusively that is critical in preventing cancer development and recurrence. And I'm like, well, the divas want to know about that, right? Yeah. So eat your fiber. And I just gave you a nice bowl of it today. Yay. It suppresses tumor development. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to know more about that, you can talk to me afterwards, but I had to share it. I was so excited. Can you tell I'm so excited? Love science. So the study results were extremely consistent, and there was a dose response, which means that the more fiber you eat, the lower your risk of developing cancer or recurrence. Yay. See, we have hope, we have power. So how much fiber does the typical American get? About 12 to 18 grams of fiber per day. How much do we need? Women generally need at least 25 grams per day. Men need at least 35 grams per day. How do you know if you're getting that much? Does anyone use, do you track your food on Lose It or MyFitnessPal or anything like that? Yeah, I'm getting a lot of nods here. If you do, that's a way to know if you're getting enough, is tracking your food. Just do it for one day. See, here's what I ate in a day, or 3 days is probably better because, depending on if it's a normal day for you, maybe at least 1 weekday and 1 weekend day. track it and just see how much you're getting. Because maybe you already have that 25 grams. Maybe you're doing better than you thought. But if you're not, then at least you can see that number and you'll be like, okay, I need to up it. And without tracking it, the one thing I will say to you is each meal needs to have a fruit or a vegetable with it. And even better, every plate needs to be half fruit or vegetable. Those of you who have been in my presentations before know half of your plate is fruits and vegetables. I'm getting a lot of nods here. Okay. So how can we get that much? More complex carbohydrates besides the fruits and vegetables that you're having at every single meal. So if you're having a snack and you're having some almonds, those have some fiber in them, but add an apple, add carrots, add something else that's a high fiber thing, but also use complex carbs. So if you're eating rice, going for that brown rice. If you're eating bread, going for the whole wheat bread. Does anyone else like whole wheat pasta? Yeah. And sometimes it takes a while for your palate to change. Maybe you just need to get used to it because it's amazing. Can you think of any of the things that you used to eat maybe when you were a teenager and you take a bite of it now and you're like, oh, why? Why did I ever eat that? Anyone? McDonald's, right? Any of that fast food stuff, you're like, oh man, I used to love this, or I used to eat it often, or I used to think it was great, whatever. Now you eat it and now you have a healthy palate. So it's just evidence that your palate can change if some of these complex carbs are not, if you're kind of like, oh, I'd rather have this, kind of think about your health and try it a few more times. So I want to talk about the difference between insoluble and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber is, it can't be digested in your stomach. But it's really, really important because it helps to ease constipation. It helps to prevent cancer. Colon cancer specifically is something that's researched a lot with the insoluble fiber. So now the soluble fiber is one that if you get it wet, it will gum up, kind of like the oats that you're having. Any of you who work with chia seeds, we also had some flax seeds as a topping today. Those have soluble fiber in them. If you get them wet, if you've ever got like chia seeds wet or flax seeds wet, they get gummy, right? Or kind of oats also too. So that will help to lower your blood cholesterol, helps you stay full for longer, especially these steel cut oats. I know you guys just had like a small serving, but I bet you you're gonna feel full a little bit longer. Do you guys have experience with steel cut oats? The difference between like eating regular oats, which regular old-fashioned oats, that's a good option too. It'll make you feel full for longer. But the steel cut oats, even more so, you're like, wow, I feel good, right? For much longer.
They're delicious. They're very filling. They're very chewy.
They're very delicious. They're very filling. They're very chewy.
They just, I don't know. I like them. Though.
In your mouth too, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of of feeling full for longer is that mandible, that chewing sensation. You feel more satisfied. Maybe you can be a little bit more mindful with your food also. So this is just a little bit more of the same thing. Insoluble fiber doesn't dissolve in water. It is not viscous. So viscous means like slimy, jelly. It's not fermentable, keeps you regular, and you can find it in wheat, brown rice, vegetables, berries, beans. The soluble fiber, like we just talked about, in the berries, in the flax seeds, and the chia seeds, also in beans and in citrus. Another way that it helps you lower your cholesterol is that the soluble fiber in your gut, there's lots and lots, that's your microbiome. Have you heard that? Yeah, there's lots and lots of bacteria in there, and these are good. We want to feed the good bacteria, We're going to feed the good bacteria. And what they're going to do for us is they're going to create short-chained fatty acids. And those short-chain fatty acids help to lower your cholesterol also. That's another mechanism in which you can lower your cholesterol. All right, you guys ready for a demonstration? Yes. So you got to taste them already, but now you're going to get to see how it's done. This is so easy, super easy, so easy. Have some questions ready because we might finish early. It's so easy that we're going to be done really fast here. So I'm just going to get to my note pages and make sure I didn't miss anything and what I wanted to say to you. Oh, we still have more to talk about. Okay. So can everybody see this? Okay. Now, you're at home, right? You can do this in an Instapot. You can just at my home, I just do it in a regular pot. Okay? Just a regular pot. Big, though. I'm going to heat this up just a little bit, so I'm going to talk a little bit more. So this Instapot, because I get questions about it, so I'm just going to say a little bit more about it. This Instapot, you can saute in it. So imagine that this is on the stove, and I just have a pot on the stove. So the bottom of it is getting hot. In the Instapot, you can also do pressure cooking, so you can cook something faster, but you can also do slow cooking. So like if you have a crock pot, which is what we had back there. So what we're going to do here, if you're looking at your recipe, we're going to start and make sure I have this on the right setting. Yes, we're on heated more. So on your recipe, it says 1 tablespoon of oil. I have been experimenting with this all week just to get it perfect for you. And honestly, I'm only using a half of a tablespoon of oil, and that's enough for me. You can use a tablespoon if you want to, but you don't have to. The reason I say grapeseed oil or avocado oil is because those are liquid at room temperature, and so they're better for your cholesterol. But also, sometimes I really, really like to use coconut oil. Now that one has a little bit more saturated fat in it, but the flavor it's just a subtle difference. It's really, really good. But we're going to use grapeseed oil today. So I'm only going to use a half of a tablespoon. So if you want to make a note of that on your recipes. So easy. You're really tired at the end of the day. Oh, I don't want to make my oats. It's so easy. Watch, Brenda's going to do it really fast. Half a tablespoon of oil, 1 cup of steel cut oats. If you're doing this at home in a pot, I would say put the pot maybe about on medium high. All right, we have 1 cup of steel cut oats. The best part of this is you're going to start to smell it. When you start to smell it, I want you to tell me what it smells like. And also, I don't think you'll be able to hear it from here, but it might start to smell like popcorn. You're going to start to sound like popcorn. And I just gave it away. It starts to smell like popcorn. And if you're not getting it right now, I can do like a little cartoony thing. Waft it over there. I'll do like Great British Bake Off and do that. So I've got this on about medium high. And so maybe I'll leave it for a minute so I can get all toasty. And then I'll do something else. I'll go get the salt, get the milk. So what I did with this, it calls for 2 cups of water and 2 cups of milk, or whatever milk product you like to use. I specifically am using, I really like the flavor of almond milk. Now, I wanted to talk about the different milk products. Pay attention to your labels. You want it to have as few ingredients as possible. So I know oat milk is really delicious, but most of them have like a lot, it's just like a lot of oil. And so pay attention to your ingredients on oat milk, on any of these, because some of them just have a lot of sugar in them. This one is unsweetened almond milk, and I love it. You can just use regular milk too. But I do recommend, while these are toasting, you are going to heat up your water. Oh, it's starting to smell. You'll get it in a minute, I promise. While you're waiting for these to toast and you're stirring them, you want to heat up your water and milk mixture in another pot. Say again. You can smell it. Okay, they're starting to be able to smell it. Yay! This is the best part. This is what I bring to you today. I'm like, I can't wait for them to smell it. It's so awesome. Because that's when my family comes in and they're like, are we having toasted overnight oats? Yes. They're always so grateful for these. And it just amazes me because I'm like, just oats. They get very excited. So we just make these on the regular. So I'm looking for them to get, they're already brown, but I'm waiting for them to get a little bit browner. You don't want to burn them, right? You want to keep them moving so they don't get too brown. And I'm stalling for these to before I put the milk in. Does anyone have any, actually, this is a perfect time for questions. Does anyone have questions about what we've talked about cholesterol so far, what we've talked about fiber, about the recipe, anything yet?
Okay, I have a question. I live in the world of going fast, so I tend to eat instant oatmeal.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure there's a big difference in the quality of what I'm eating versus this.
Sure. So she goes really fast every day, like many of us, right? And she tends to eat instant oatmeal. What's the difference in quality between the instant oatmeal and the steel cut oats? The instant oatmeal, are you getting like little packets?
Yeah.
So have you looked at how much sugar are in those? Yeah, I don't want to know. Yeah, that's the thing is sometimes even for me, I'm like, oh, this looks really good. There are certain brands that tend to have like a little bit lower, but even like the good brands, they have so much sugar in them. It kind of like, I really want to try this, and it just has too much sugar in it. I mean, somewhere, I'm just going by memory, but in general, when you're having a packaged product, you probably don't want to get anything that's more than like 5 grams of sugar. I mean, unless you're intentionally going for the sugar. But I mean, on a daily basis with your breakfast, those tend to be like yogurts. They tend to have like 15 grams of sugar to start your day. So, I mean, if you're going to do that, my first recommendation is get some protein ahead of it so your blood sugar is not spiking. But this is the perfect solution for you, because what's going to happen, sorry, I'm going to finish my answer, but these I'm making also for the next class. So I want to make sure. So here, this is going to steam up, guys. You smelling it? Yeah. Oh, you know what? For the next class, I need to have like a fan. There we go. I'll do like a reverse Beyonce. My hair will be like that. It's okay. It's worth it. All right. And then I'm going to put in this. It's a quarter teaspoon of salt. It's not going to make it taste salty. It's just going to enhance the flavor. If you want to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, you can do that too. But just something to kind of lift that flavor. And I swear I'm going to get back to your what's the difference between instant oats and there we go. Because I just want to show you how fast this is. Because bam, there's like nothing else for me to do now. I have to cover it. And since I was practicing this so much, I know We're going to put the cover on this. Now, if you're doing this at home, all you're going to do is what I think the instructions tell you. So if you're doing this at home, you're going to bring it up to a boil. Actually, you know what? Let me do that first. You're going to bring it up to a boil or a simmer. Get it to a simmer. Then you're going to give it one last stir, and then you're going to put the lid on it. Okay? And then you're going to, and then turn off the fire. Turn off the fire. Once you get it like a good boil, then turn off the fire. Nice tight fitting lid on your pot, and then you leave it. And the next morning you wake up, and it's actually probably even, well, I wouldn't say it's better than the instant oats in the sense of that you'll still want to have to warm them up, but you can just take a portion. This is going to make a lot, depending on how much you eat. This will give you anywhere around maybe 8 servings. Yeah. So you can portion it out and then put them in the refrigerator in portions. So if you're in a hurry, then you can just heat it up. You heat it up in the microwave. Now, if you portion it out into plastic, I would highly, highly encourage you to put it in a ceramic or a glass bowl before you microwave it. Never microwave in plastic. Never microwave in plastic. This is what we say in my house. So to answer your question about the difference between the quick oats and the steel cut oats and the old fashioned oats, what happens to make those oats quick is they have to take out a lot of the fiber, which is what you're eating oatmeal for. They're going to roll it and they'll process it again, and they're going to take out that fiber. So a little bit faster. And honestly, I use the rolled oats, the old-fashioned rolled oats, and it really doesn't take that much longer. I can make them in the microwave. So I will just put my rolled oats in a ceramic or glass bowl, and then add, if you want to have cinnamon or a little bit of milk or just water, and then just put them in the microwave. It works just the same. And if you want a little bit more flavor, then have those dried berries. Or what flavor do you like?
Cranberry.
You like the cranberry? Yeah, just have those cranberries on hand. Put the cranberries in there. Jose and I were just talking before how you have your oatmeal and then you put the water in, and that plumps up the raisins and the cranberries just the same, right? You get that same, and then the flavor distributes throughout the oats.
Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
The answer to the question is you've lost all the fiber when you do that instant. And then also there's the sugar content too, the added sugar content, I should say. The steel cut oats are going to stick with you much longer throughout the day. And here's something super important. When you're having something with less fiber that's more processed. So I wish I had a drawing board now. Here's your blood sugar level, right? So you eat some quick oats and your blood sugar goes like that, it spikes and it comes down. All right. So instead, I'm going to have some old-fashioned oats. So here's my blood sugar. It goes up, normal, but doesn't come down as far, right? And then it stabilizes again. So you're going to have your steel cut oats, and then it's going to go up less, and it's going to sustain more at this higher level, giving you energy, and then it's going to go down, but it's going to go down less. So keeping your blood sugar stabilized is what we're going for. These spikes is what messes with your brain, your arteries, your blood sugar levels, right? The diabetes part. So give me just a second here. I'm just going to set this. So I'm going to turn off the saute on this. And this is the part where you just turn off your heat and you leave it for the night. But for our next class, I'm going to turn this on. Yay! And now they get to have their oats. So I just want to talk a little bit about some of the ingredients and some of the benefits of the steel cut oats and the toppings that you just had. So it's pixelated. I'm sorry. It looks really pretty on my screen. These are the steel cut oats, some berries and the cinnamon. Phytochemicals, that just means chemicals in plants. Phyto is plants. So some of the chemicals in these steel cut oats and in the berries, they're called sterols. And these sterols work like a statin. That is a way for you to reduce the absorption of the cholesterol and also then help you to eliminate that cholesterol from your body. And how many grams of fiber are recommended per day? 25 for women, 35 for men. Love it.
Gastroenterologist recommends more.
And the gastroenterologist recommends more. Yeah, and I agree with that also. I, every day, get more than that. It's just my habit, right? And the way to do that is we're going to have fiber with every single meal, right? If you're starting to eat a stick of cheese, you're like, I need to get some fiber with this, right? Hey, let's talk about those goji berries. Has anyone here not ever had a goji berry before? Was this their first time? Yay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass these around, and I'm sorry, she just took your bowls. So maybe just pour these in your hand. No, we didn't coordinate this, so that's my fault. These are the dry version. I went ahead and soaked them in water for you so you could kind of get I like them that way, but people eat them dry. Also, it's just the difference between having a dry raisin and a soaked raisin. But you can even smell these even though they're dry because they're fresh. I just got them. So if you want to, I put a spoon in there. If you want to like put a couple in your hand, feel the difference, taste the difference if you want to taste the difference. Now, I did find that they may interact with warfarin if you're on a blood thinner, or they might interact with some diabetes or blood pressure medications. I'm assuming that would be in very high doses, but still, if you're unsure to taste them, then that's okay too. The goji berries come from China. They help to promote weight loss and better sleep. Can anyone use better sleep? Yes, for your body and for your brain. They'll help to boost your immune system. They're super rich in antioxidants. So vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin D, all those good vitamins that are going to help to boost your immune system. And lots of fiber. So those of you who have tried the soaked ones and those of you who are trying the dry ones, what do you prefer? Everybody likes the soaked better. And let me tell you something also, is that what I do is like I'll take a little portion and I'll soak it in water. And then when I pour it into my oats, put the water in there because it diffuses into the water. It's so delicious. Because one day my husband, I was like, look, I soaked some goji berries for your oatmeal. Okay, thank you. And then he goes and he pours the water down the drain. I was like, you're losing all the flavor. So get that if you decide to do it. They taste like a berry cereal. Like a Captain Crunch berry or something like that. But this one you can feel, or like yogurt, yeah. This one you can feel really good about eating, right? Good. Now I just put the cinnamon up here because I get a lot of questions about cinnamon. I know people know like it, they'll take it supplementally to lower their blood sugar, but it also helps to lower your cholesterol. Now again, if you take it supplementally, when I say supplementally, you're taking it in a pill, right? Not just putting it on your oatmeal. But I did want to talk about it a little bit because there are a lot of really good benefits to cinnamon, the anti-inflammatory properties and lowering cancer risk. Again, it's another antioxidant. I mean, you're just having like a bowl full of health in this morning already. And would you like to do this every day? Sure. So all you have to do, just set it up the night before, and then this is going to feed you for it. if it's just you, it's going to feed you at least for the whole week. And I know a lot of you eat oatmeal every day anyway, right? So do that. You warm it up. Yeah. So I got a question of, can you put the cinnamon in while it's making it? Of course. Yeah, you can. I've got 4 people in my house, and so I just keep it plain, and everybody can add cardamom. Does anyone else like cardamom? Yeah, just something different too. If you get bored with the cinnamon after a while, like cardamom or... It's kind of like a cinnamon, but it's a spice that's used. Cardamom, she was asking what cardamom is. Cardamom is kind of like a cinnamon, but it's just a different flavor. It's used a lot in Indian, but like if you have like a chai tea or something like that, you'll get some cardamom in there. Can anyone describe it better than me?
It's like an allspice. It has like different spices in there. It's sweet and cinnamon. It has cinnamon, like anise, I think. I don't know, but it's really good. It's just...
Well, cardamom itself is just a pod. It is just its own. Maybe you're thinking of chai. Are you thinking of chai?
Chai is really good too.
It's like a blend of, yeah. She's saying that it tastes a little bit more smoky. I don't know. Well, you know what?
A little sweeter.
It's a little bit sweeter. Yeah. The cardamom is a little bit sweeter.
Once you bite into it, it's really strong.
Once you bite, yeah. If you bite into like a pod, you mean, then it's very strong. Yeah. So yes, you can put the cinnamon in as you're making it. I guess technically you could even put the berries and raisins in if you want to. It is, I don't think it would overcook them, and it would just diffuse the flavor a little bit more. So if you like those cranberries, maybe you could just put them in before, if you're the one. And that would make things even faster for you too. Right? Yeah, because then you don't have to worry about, okay, I have my oatmeal, now I got to warm it up, put the cranberries in, everything's ready. Stick it in the microwave. It's going to take as long as your instant oatmeal did, and you're going to feel so good about your decisions. I have a question.
I like the pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin
Gave me some
seeds.
Crunch when I was eating it.
Yes.
What other crunch could you recommend? Sliced almonds?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was standing in my pantry. Oh, sorry. Her question, she said, I really like the crunch of the pumpkin seeds we offered in the sample that they had today. And I was standing in my pantry with all of my different nuts around. And I'm like, we could do almonds. It's pretty neutral. And I'm like, but I kind of wanted to bring you something different. So I had pine nuts in there. I had sunflower seeds. Really like sunflower seeds. Almonds, pecan. I mean, name a nut. Walnuts. Yes. Yeah. So whatever you like. And then as you're doing this on a regular basis, you try a different fruit. Like if you can start to get bored with it, you're like, okay, today I want raisins. Today I want cinnamon. Today I want cardamom. Today I want pecans. And then maybe put some peaches. I'm getting really hungry. Let's see. What else do we? Oh, we're almost out of time, and this was a great conversation. Thank you so much for participating. I like to bring presents. These are a few of my favorite new things. So, last week I gave away some of these Step 1 sprinkles. Did you like them? Okay, so we have one person who said those are good. This is one of my favorite things. So this Step 1 was created by a doctor and clinically proven to lower your cholesterol when eaten on a regular basis. So I brought you some more of their products, and I've got everybody's name here in a bowl. And just to let you know what I have, this is not a commercial. I just want to let you know what I have in here so you're not wondering. Okay, so I've got an apple cinnamon bar. I've got a lemon bar. I've got a blueberry oatmeal. And then I've got a smoothie mix. So this is a mix that you would put in your smoothie. I highly recommend, if you choose this one, put some berries in your smoothie first. It's not very sweet at all. It's pretty neutral, but it's effective. And then I also have, just as a bonus, if anybody wants to do a little bit more reading, I've got a few of these books. I have one that is Primetime Health by Dr. Sears. And I keep giving this book out to people because it's a really great way to read about your overall health, especially after 40. And he makes it so digestible. Like, I enjoy reading it, but it's something that I can give to my clients and they can enjoy reading it. And it gives you lots of like things to do. And he's just really good at explaining things. And then for those of you who might have grandchildren or children, The Healthiest Kid in the Neighborhood. So let me draw one of these names. I'm not looking. Christine Martinez. She also gets the participation prize, right? So yeah, I'll let you come up and choose which one you would like. And if you want a book, you can do a book, but
I'll do the book.
food's good too. Okay, so we're gonna draw two more. Not looking. Anita!
Oh.
Yeah! Didn't you win last week? No, you won. I mean, you show up, you win, you win. You're lucky. All right.
I'll take the other book if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. Colston.
Oh,
All right. Come and pick what you didn't get to come last week. I would highly recommend this. But if you like apple or lemon too, you can try one of those bars. Okay, yeah, it's a good one. You know what? I'm giving a bonus prize today because I have lots to share and lots of love. And Adriana Garza? There you go. You can. No, you came. You get to win. And I'll have more next week. So see, that'll entice people to come. All right. So, sneak peek next week. Next week, we're going to talk about the effects of physical activity in lowering your cholesterol. It is one of the most impactful, powerful things that you can do to lower your cholesterol. And luckily, you guys are so lucky you have free fitness classes. Sign up for the fitness classes. They are amazing. I used to teach some, so I know it's just, I know they're the best. So we already did some questions, and I think we're out of time. But is there maybe one last question? One last question.
Yes, I have a question about when you were talking about the quick cook, the instant oats.
The instant oats.
Not much fiber because it's been pressed out of it. What about the quick cooked rolled oats?
The quick cooked rolled oats are, to me, synonymous with the instant rolled oats. So yeah, and they're going to have less fiber in them. Yes. Have you tried the old-fashioned rolled oats? It's not to your taste. Well, then you know what? Here's something. This is a really good point. As a health coach, as a dietitian, I would rather that you eat quick oats. If you don't like the old-fashioned rolled oats, I would rather you eat the quick oats, right? Versus cereal or whatever, boxed granola or whatever. So namaste, stay with what you're doing. Try the others to see. I mean, well, what did you think about the steel cut?
That's very good.
Is that too much texture for you?
That was good.
Yeah. Okay, no, some people like smoother.
I didn't get them as soft as those, so that was like,
That's how it was for me too.
A lot of times with people who typically use the quick and the instant, when you go to the natural, you try to cook it in the same amount of time, and that is not going to work. You can get oatmeal almost as soft, just as soft as it almost like doing cream of wheat. You just have to take the time. But who wants their oatmeal like cream of wheat? You don't want it to cook away like that. So take a little bit more time, or cook it overnight. And that's a really good way to do it, is to cook it overnight. You can also do all of your prep for your oatmeal in a glass, in one of those mason jars. Measure them out for the week or however you want to do it. And don't cook it. Just leave it in the jar with the milk or water, and it softens it up. So then the next day when you put it in the microwave, it's a lot softer. So just remember, you can't think instant. It's going to take time. Okay. And love yourself enough to take the time that it needs, so that your body will get what it really needs.
Yeah, and just those are brilliant ideas. Do you want me to repeat all of that? Jose just gave some really great ideas. Email her if you want more information. Yeah, if you like the creamier, this turns out creamy. And from one of the books I read, she calls her oats ever expanding oats, because you can just keep adding water and stir. Add water and stir. If you like a smoother consistency, just keep adding water, keep stirring, keep cooking, and then it'll turn into instant, except that it'll still have the fiber in there. It'll just be a little more hidden. One last question.
I wanted to ask, if you make it on the stove and you turn it off, cover, leave it for the night, does it dry out in the morning? Or
Will it be dry in the morning? Is that what you're saying? No, it'll still be pretty wet. You might see it might be a little bit dry on top, but if you've got it covered all night long, you should be okay. And then basically when you wake up in the morning, you can just turn the heat back on, give it a little stir until you get it to that consistency that you like. So yeah, you'll want to turn the heat back on, or you can portion out a bit and put it in the microwave if you're in a hurry. Does that answer your question? Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I love teaching. So come back next week and I'll teach you more. Thank you.